Hello and welcome, my dear friend. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when heaven itself stops deliberating. The case against you, the doubts, the whispers, the trials, the endless delays, all of it reaches a conclusion. And when God closes the case, no one can reopen it. The verdict has already been spoken over your life. Victory. This isn't about something you earned through perfection. It's about something that was written into the record of eternity before you even took your first breath. God didn't wait until you proved yourself to make a decision about you. Long before you fell, long before you stumbled, long before you questioned your own worth, He had already declared you His. That's why some battles felt so unfair. It's not that you were cursed, it's not that you were abandoned, it's that your life was under the weight of a decision too great to fit neatly into society's surface-level measures of success. The truth is, when God chooses someone, He chooses them completely. And with that choice comes a journey that does not make sense to the outside world. To them, it looks like you're losing ground. To them, it looks like delays, denials, detours. But in the courts of heaven, it is all evidence building toward a verdict already written. You cannot be defeated. Think about this. If your life were a trial, the accuser would bring forward every failure. He would try to convince heaven, but before the enemy could even finish his argument, God would bang the gavel. The case would be closed. And His ruling isn't based on your weakness. It's based on His purpose. That's why you're still here. That's why you didn't collapse under the weight of despair, even when you felt broken beyond repair. That's why you're quiet. Yes, your hidden obedience, your willingness to keep showing up when no one saw, those things carried eternal weight. You thought those moments went unnoticed, but heaven was taking notes, and the verdict didn't come down in whispers. It was loud, it was final, it was written across eternity. Victory belongs to you. That's why the days have felt heavy. That's why the struggle didn't let up when you thought it should. Because you weren't being crushed, you were being carved. God was chiseling away everything that could be used as evidence against you. Every hardship was turned into testimony. Every tear was sealed as proof that even in fire, you refused to surrender your light. Listen to me. You are not waiting for God to make up His mind about you. He already decided. You are not waiting for destiny to unfold as if it might change direction tomorrow. Destiny was written in ink that cannot be erased. You see, society looks at outcomes. Heaven looks at endurance. Society says blessing is measured by wealth, spotlight, and ease. Heaven says blessing is carrying light when it would have been easier to curse the darkness. And that's why what looked like a curse has been a blessing all along. From the outside, it looked like endless delay. On the inside, God was sealing your case with evidence that would silence every accusation. This is why you've been different, why you couldn't just blend in, why you couldn't settle for surface-level desires when your soul knew you were carrying something eternal. To some, your path looked like punishment. To others, it looked like failure. But in truth, your path has been the preparation of a vessel that God Himself marked as an example on this earth. And here's the most powerful part. When heaven rules in your favor, earth has no choice but to catch up. The alignment that already exists in the spirit will soon manifest in the physical. What God closed in eternity, no one can reopen in time. So if you've been wondering why life has felt like one long trial, let this be your confirmation. The trial is over. The case is closed. The verdict is in victory. And soon you will see what that means not just in your spirit, but in your reality. When God looks at you, He doesn't see the version of you that stumbled. He doesn't define you by the nights you broke down or the mistakes you regret. He sees the verdict He already declared, chosen, victorious, sealed. That's why your perspective matters so much right now. If you only look at your life through the lens of the world, you'll call your blessing a burden. You'll mislabel your preparation as punishment. you'll see your uniqueness as isolation. But if you look at your life through the lens of heaven, through the way God sees you, you'll begin to recognize how glorious it is to be marked in heaven. Because here's the truth: you are not ordinary. You never were. If you were, your journey would have looked ordinary. But chosen vessels are sculpted differently. You carry weight others cannot carry. You walk paths others could not survive. And that's not because God delights in your pain, it's because God trusts you with His light. Right now, in this very moment, you have access to that truth. You don't have to wait until the world validates you to realize how extraordinary your life is. You don't have to wait until doors open or people applaud you. You can look into your own story, the tears you've survived, the resilience you've shown, the faith you kept when everything screamed at you to quit, and see the hand of God etched into every line. This is why heaven celebrated you long before earth understood you. They saw how you kept walking when the weight tried to bury you. They saw how you kept loving when betrayal tried to harden you. They saw how you kept trusting when silence tried to convince you nothing was working. And now, my dear friend, it's time for you to see yourself that way too. The blessing of being chosen isn't just about the future reward, it's about the honor of being living proof right now. Proof that God still moves through ordinary flesh and blood. Proof that His strength can be seen in weakness. Proof that endurance can shine brighter than talent or charm. When you start to see yourself as God sees you, your present transforms. The weight doesn't disappear, but it stops feeling like a chain and starts feeling like a crown. The struggles don't vanish, but you realize they are evidence of a verdict that cannot be overturned. And here's the beautiful paradox. The more you see yourself as chosen, the more your reality begins to reflect it. Doors begin to respond to your presence. Relationships begin to shift around your light. Opportunities find their way to you without the old struggle, because the atmosphere around you has caught up to what heaven already declared. It doesn't stop there. The more you embody the truth of who you already are, the more the future unfolds in ways that confirm it. The world begins to see what God has always seen. The identity you carried quietly in your spirit begins to manifest loudly in your reality. Imagine this: the you God sees, steady, radiant, victorious, unshakable, is not a distant version waiting 10 years from now. That you already exists in heaven's record. And the moment you align your eyes with His, that version begins to take shape here on earth. This is why you were never really losing, even when it looked like loss. The setbacks, the heartbreaks, the disappointments, they weren't erasing you, they were chiseling you. They were revealing the version of you that God already decided would walk this earth. And here's the part that changes everything. When you step fully into that identity, when you carry yourself as the one whose case is closed and whose verdict is victory, you not only change your own life, you change lives around you. You become the sermon heaven has been echoing for ages, not through words alone, but through existence itself. People will feel it in your presence. They won't always know why they're drawn to you, but it will be because you embody what they've only heard about. Resilience that doesn't break, love that doesn't run dry, light that refuses to fade. And in the future, when you look back, you will see it clearly. You'll realize that every trial was not just survived, it was transformed into glory. You'll see that God's vision of you was never a dream, it was always the truest reality. You simply had to grow into it. So don't wait to celebrate who you are. Don't postpone joy until tomorrow. Right now, in this moment, heaven is already celebrating you. The verdict is already sealed. Victory already belongs to you. And the more you live from that truth today, the faster your future aligns with it. My dear friend, lift your head. Stop rehearsing the case that God already closed. Stop replaying the evidence that was already thrown out. The gavel has fallen, the ruling is final. You are chosen. You are victorious. You are God's living example on this earth. And when you carry that reality, not just in your spirit, but in the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you live, the world around you will have no choice but to recognize what heaven already declared. The case is closed. Victory was the verdict, and you are the proof. And before we finish, I want to share something with you. As a musician, I've started a second channel, Simplified Serenity, with soaking worship instrumentals for prayer, stillness, and deep rest. If you felt peace here today, take it with you into your own quiet time with God. The link's in the description. I'd love to see you there.